Welcome to AI Code News Channel.
Have you ever wished your AI assistant could do, more? More than just play a song or tell you the weather? What if it could actually be a true teammate? Well, today we're going to look at a project that's trying to do exactly that. It's called OpenClaw.
Just let that sink in for a second. An AI that doesn't just give you facts, but acts like a real coworker, one who can see your screen and use your keyboard and mouse. I mean, have you ever been frustrated that you can't just tell your phone, hey, go through my inbox and get rid of all the junk mail? Or, that dentist appointment I need? Just go book it for me. The whole idea here is to finally close that gap.
All right, so let's get right into it. What does it actually mean to have an AI that does things?
This right here is the core promise. It's about moving way beyond simple commands to handling complex, multi-step jobs. Just imagine sending a quick message on WhatsApp, and minutes later, a brand new website goes live. Or all your smart home gadgets get set up, and you never even had to open an app.
Okay, so let's dive a little deeper. What exactly is OpenClaw? And what makes it so different from the assistants we already know, like Siri or Alexa?
The most important words on this slide are on your own computer. This is the key. See, unlike other assistants that live on some company's giant server farm in the cloud, OpenClaw is what we call local first. And that means it is fundamentally private and completely under your control. Plus, it works through the chat apps you're already using every day.
This comparison really lays it all out. Conventional assistants, they're cloud-based, they can only do a limited set of things, and they're totally controlled by a huge tech company. It's kind of like a walled garden. You can play inside, but you can't leave or change the rules. OpenClaw completely flips that on its head. It's local, it has full access to your system, so it can do pretty much anything, and it's open source, which means anyone can see how it works and even change it. It's less of an app and more like your very own personal operating system.
Now, I know what you're thinking. This probably sounds super complicated, but the way you actually interact with it is surprisingly simple. Let's break down how the magic happens. Everything centers on this one idea called the gateway. Just picture it as a piece of software that's always running on your computer, acting like a central hub or a switchboard operator. It's the brain of the whole operation, listening for your messages and telling the AI what to do next.
So the whole process looks something like this. You send a simple text from, let's say, Telegram. The gateway on your computer instantly picks it up. The AI then gets to work. Maybe it opens your web browser, runs a quick script, or creates a document, whatever it needs to do to finish your request. And when it's done, it sends a reply right back to you in that same Telegram chat. It's this perfect seamless loop.
And this isn't just some flimsy script somebody threw together. This is a really robust open source project. You can see the code base is mostly modern stuff like TypeScript, with support for native apps too. That just goes to show you there's a serious, active community building this thing for the long haul.
So we've talked about the how. But now let's get to the really exciting part. What are people actually doing with this? What does it look like when you have this kind of power?
Here's a perfect example. Someone built an entire website from their phone. Just a few text messages, no laptop, no complicated code editors, just a conversation. And then, just like that, they connected it to their fitness tracker to pull in their health data. It's all about making these different services talk to each other effortlessly.
This one is absolutely incredible because it shows real problem solving. The AI ran into a roadblock. It needed a special password called an API key to access another service. But instead of just giving up, it realized what the problem was, opened a web browser by itself, navigated through a really complex developer website, and got the key it needed to keep going. That's real autonomy.
And it gets even better. OpenClaw isn't just using the tools it's given. It can actually build new tools for itself. So this user wanted to connect it to their to-do list app. But instead of them having to figure out how, the AI figured it out and created the new skill all on its own. It's learning.
Now, for the more technical folks out there, this is where it starts to feel like science fiction. In this example, OpenClaw is acting like a software developer. It's automatically running tests on an app, finding bugs, fixing the code, and then submitting those fixes for review. It's not just an assistant anymore, it's a full-on collaborator.
When you put all of these examples together, they start to point to a much bigger idea. This is about a fundamental shift in how we're all going to interact with our technology. This is the big leap. We're moving away from thinking of AI as just a tool, like a fancy calculator or a search engine. We're moving towards seeing it as a persistent, proactive teammate that works right alongside us.
So why does all of this matter? Well, it really boils down to a few huge ideas. True ownership and privacy. In a world where all our data is constantly being sent up to the cloud, this keeps your personal information and your conversations right there on your machine. The potential is basically limitless, because if you can do it on your computer, OpenClaw can too. And what that really means is you get unprecedented control. You're in charge, not some giant corporation.
And that's really the question I want to leave you with. If you had an intelligent agent with full access to your digital life, ready and waiting to take on any task you could think of, what would be the very first thing you'd ask it to do? The possibilities are just starting to open up.